All right, so looks like we're streaming. Just wanted to do this video tonight and announce the winner of the giveaway. I don't know who it is yet. We're gonna roll the dice and find out who that is together tonight, live on camera. So, as you can see, I got Pickles over here hanging out, and Mazzy's back on the couch over here relaxing like a lazy big dog. But before we get to the giveaway, there's a couple of things I just wanted to talk about. I'm basically 2 months in now on my testing of the XT1. And I've been very happy, as most of you know, with the results that I'm getting from the XT1. It's just such a wonderfully usable camera. And I'm sorry about the quality of the live video. I'm still using this old Logitech webcam. Although I did just get a iMac, but the camera on that sucks too. So it is what it is. But I've got this Fujifilm X T1 that I've been testing now for quite some time, as most of you know. Been testing it for about 2 months, and I'm really excited about the results that I'm getting. The images that are coming out of it are wonderful. I did do a video earlier about the unboxing of the Rokinon 85 f1.4, and I will talk about that lens a little bit tonight. I am very pleased with the results of that lens so far. It is exceptionally sharp, almost all the way to 1.4. It loses it at 1.4 for sure, and sometimes worse than others. I think there is some variation inside my particular lens that's messing a little bit with it when it drops down to 1.4, because sometimes it looks really bad and sometimes it looks all right. The sharpness, of course, is not on par with like the top lenses from Fujifilm or the top lenses from Nikon or Canon. It just doesn't have that kind of sharpness. It's not capable of that, but it is extremely close to that. For the price difference, when you're talking 1/5 the price, I'm very pleased with the results so far. The weather around here has been pretty good for shooting, if you like shooting snow. And if you like being really cold. It's pretty tough when you're in a wheelchair, as I am, to get around out there sometimes in this snow. There's ways around that, and there's ways to still get out and go shoot. But I'm avoiding the areas that can be really muddy right now. That sucks. It's just not fun. So I'm very happy with that. Let's talk a little bit about the lenses that I've been using so that you guys know exactly what I am using while I'm testing this thing out. And hopefully this lens collection will grow a little bit over the course of this little series that I'm doing. I do have the chat up too, so if anybody wants to say anything, or if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, feel free to hit up that chat. I'll probably say that a couple of times tonight as new people come in to watch. But yeah, the chat is ready for you guys. So the lenses that I've been using started with the kit lens, of course, that came with my XE1. And as I've told you guys before, I love this lens, this 18 to 55. It's a 2.8 to 4. So it is a variable aperture, but as far as variable apertures go, that is a really low variable aperture compared to most kit lenses that are going to be 3.5 to 5 or even higher, sometimes 6.1, 6 something. So being all the way down at 4 when you're at your full extension is pretty darn good. And then the next kit lens that goes with that is the 55 to 200 that starts at 3.5. So you can get 55 at 3.5 if you buy both of those. I don't have that other lens, but I've been considering it. I've been watching some reviews, and people really do seem to think that that is one of the better lenses for using when you're traveling, just because it's lightweight. It doesn't take up as much space as, say, the 50 to 130, I think it is. That's a 2.8. Now that takes up some serious space. It's a big, heavy lens. So for traveling and just convenience, that lens is supposed to be really quite good. And if it's up to the quality of this kit lens, then I really should pick one up. Now they're running used, I think, in the, gosh, they're probably $400 range. I'm kind of guessing on that. So correct me if I'm wrong down below, or somebody type it in. Hey, great Vazzini, it's good to see you in here, man. I'm glad somebody's in here. That's cool. Yeah, better late than never, I would say. But so yeah, this, as far as the kit lenses go, Fuji has really outdone themselves, and this is still an everyday carry around lens for me. Now, every once in a while, this one will stay at home if I've got something specific I'm doing. Looks like Pickles is trying to rally up Mazzy to play. Hopefully they don't get too wild here, because they can get a little noisy when they're doing that. Oh, Pickles is coming up to say hello. Come on, buddy. Come on. No. All right, he's going to hang out for a second while I talk to you guys. I'll try to keep him away from the microphone so it's not annoying. But yeah, so that lens I've been using quite a bit. Probably one of the sharpest lenses that I have is this 35.2 or 2 f2 lens. And it is exceptionally sharp. I'm really pleased with it. I like the bokeh that I get from it. It's not going to be like a bokeh master like that 56 1.2 that everybody loves and everybody has except for me. So I don't know exactly what I'm missing because I don't have it. I've seen the images that people put up as examples, and they are quite beautiful. But you know, it's different to see an example than to use it yourself. And I always recommend, when you're looking at some of these lenses, if you have the opportunity, if you have a shop that's local to you that carries them, go down and take your camera with you. Put the lens on that you're interested in, and take a SD card with you. Put it in the camera and take some shots. And then when you're done, take it out and take it home with you. Put it on your computer and look at the quality, look at the color, look at the sharpness. See what you're getting out of that, and see if it's really worth the money that you're thinking. So this lens I did pick up exceptionally cheap. I think I paid, if I remember right, about $230 for it. Most of the time I see them used around the $300 range. At $300, would I still buy it? Yeah, I would still buy it. It's an awesome lens. It's really small. It's compact. It's easy to carry around. It's a good. I'm getting knocked over by my dog. It's a good lens to use for, say, street photography, things like that, low light. Vanzini says, yeah, he would love the 56 as well. I can't argue. That thing looks amazing, but it's way out of my price range. So the next lens that I got, and I once again got a really good used deal on this. You know, my channel's kind of about doing this stuff cheap, and I'm kind of cheap when it comes to this stuff. So I found this and had been looking at them new, and was thinking, you know, around $300, this is a really interesting lens, which is about what you can pick them up for brand new. But I got it used for $180, and I just couldn't argue with that. It's not a pristine example of it. It's got a little bit of body wear, but it's the 12 millimeter Rokinon f2 manual lens. And I love manual focus. I don't know why. I'm just getting back into that, and it's reminding me of when I was little and my dad's camera would come out and he'd start taking pictures, and then I'd pick up the camera and start playing with it. And of course there was no autofocus back then. It was all manual focus, and it was just really enjoyable as a little kid, and this reminds me of that. So when I'm out on the street, I tend to take the 30 because the autofocus is a little quicker. But with this guy, you can get away with a lot because the focus on it is going to run into infinity after about right around 4 feet, maybe 5. Everything past that is going to be perfectly sharp if you just set your infinity point correctly and then are careful not to knock it. So this lens I would highly recommend. Would I pay $300 for a new copy? That's always the question. I think so. I really do. At 180 it was a steal, absolute steal. $300 for a brand new copy, and I'd probably get a black one just because the silver's a little odd to me. But yeah, I would probably do it again for $300. I like that lens. Now the 85 1.4, that thing's a steal at 240. Like I said, it's not going to be as sharp as Fuji's best glass, but it is quite sharp, especially when you go 2 or higher on the f-stop. It gets a little sharper around 2.8. Then it doesn't change much after that, so it's not the best, most sharp lens I've ever seen in my life, but it is pretty darn good, especially for the price. I would highly recommend that one. Now it is heavy. It is very heavy, and I put my battery grip on in order to balance out the camera, and that does help. If you're running this lens on an XE1, it might be a little uncomfortable because the XE1 doesn't provide you a lot of grip for your fingers on the front side. And I think you would absolutely have to have a thumb grip, but you would always be double handing it. And sometimes I have to use a hand for balance. So I shoot a lot one-handed, which is hard to be steady. But the grip helps a lot with that, especially with a lens this size. And it's a little hard to do that with a manual focus lens anyway. So most of the time that I'm using this lens is going to be on a tripod, probably out shooting portraiture, that type of stuff out in the wilderness where I can get some really nice bokeh in the background from stopping down to 2. F2's got some beautiful bokeh. Now, once you get to f1.4, it's unbelievable as far as what you're getting for what you paid for. As far as image separation or subject separation, but it's not perfect, and it's beat out by many other lenses. It's just that what makes it so amazing is the price you paid for it. So don't get me wrong, it's not the greatest lens in the world, but what you paid for it, it's wonderful. So I don't know what else has been going on for me. It's just with this snow, I just haven't been able to get out and shoot much. So I did do a bunch of test shots when I got the 85. Just here in my living room, I set up a G.I. Joe guy right here on that the top of that chair right there, and then shot from this side over here, looking at these plants over here. And just went through all the f-stops. And then I did a little bit of video shooting with it, practicing setting the focus point, and then walking into it and staying there while I was doing like an interview type talking or whatever. And I really enjoy using this lens for that stuff. I thought it might be difficult at first to be working without the autofocus, but to be honest, it's much more, it's much easier for me, the way that I shoot, to not mess with the autofocus. The autofocus just walks too much. It's always trying to search for something in the background. That just drives me nuts. So using that lens or using the 12mm lens, I've been very happy shooting video with those two. Makes me want to get a 50 and a 35, and maybe even the 127, I think is what it is, or 135 that they make. Makes me want to get the full set just for shooting video, because they're just absolutely perfect for that, in my opinion. And they do actually make Cine lenses that are right in the same price range for the same focal length and really close to the same aperture. Sometimes it's like a third of a stop higher. I think maybe that has something to do with all the mechanisms that's required for the Cine lenses. Just takes up space on the inside, and they can't open the aperture as wide. But they are interesting lenses, and yeah. Okay, so we got a really good friend of mine, Addie, is in here. Addie's actually lives in my hometown, and Addie says autofocus is overrated, and I have to agree. Very overrated, Addie. Let's see, Vanzini's talking to me again. I just started to mess about with the 7 Artisans. I haven't touched the 7 Artisan stuff, Vanzini, but I really want to. It's really tempting because the pricing is just so low. It's got to be better than a Holga lens, right? So I don't know. I'm really interested in those. They seem like they'd be fun lenses to use. So yeah, congrats on using those. What body are you using, Vanzini, if you don't mind telling me? I think you did say at one point or another in a response to one of my videos, if I remember correctly, but not that matters. But if you want to share, I'd be interested. So now I'm forgetting where I was at. There goes Pickles walking around. Just got some water to drink. But so the main point of making this video tonight is to kind of talk about those, the lens choices that I've come up with using the budget model that I'm using, and how happy I am with the results of those lenses or those purchases. And don't forget, when you're purchasing Korean, quilted always denotes high end, so that's how you know your Rokinon lenses are high end. They're awesome, especially for the money. But the main point of the video is to get to the winner of the contest. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this and make it random, which is why I'm doing a live video, so that I do have people that are kind of watching to make sure that it is correctly random. And I don't have a random number generator. I should just get one of those, but I don't want to put my screen on here so you guys can see it. I'm just not skilled at this stuff yet, so it'll get better soon. We'll be using all that type of stuff. But let me find my video, and we'll take a look at how many comments we had. Comments. Okay, so I'm counting them up right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 18 total comments. So what I'm going to do here is roll some dice. Wait a minute, I have a... Oh, no, I don't. So I have a 20-sided dice right here. And we're just going to say that 19 and 20 denote a reroll. And when we get a number that's between 1 and 18 on the roll, I'll count down to that person or that comment, and that's the winner of the contest. And then I'll tell you guys how to redeem that prize. So I'm just going to roll the dice onto this iPad so that I can move it up towards the camera so that you guys can see. Maybe I need to move the camera just a little bit so you can watch me roll it. Let's see. Well, I think you'll trust me that I'm actually gonna roll this. Here we go. All right, so we did get a number that is between 1 and 18. And that number is, oh, almost rolled off. That number is 16. So, yeah, 16. So, I'm going to count backwards, 18, 17, 16. And the winner of the 16 gigabyte SD card with 85 megabit per second read and write is Dirk Hackenberg. And Dirk's comment was, "Hi, I love your channel. I think the XT1 is a real bargain because of the viewfinder. Panasonic G9 or XH1 would be so much more expensive, and the viewfinder of the XT20 is tiny in comparison. I wish I could test the XT1 in real life before I buy it, but no store carries them anymore, so your channel helps me make a decision." Yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm glad that it's helping out. It says, "By the way, please skip my comment for the giveaway." That couldn't have worked out any better, guys. All right, so we're going to have to skip his comment for the giveaway. We'll re-roll that. So now we got 17 in the giveaway. Yeah, that's... Sorry, Dirk. So we're going to re-roll. Just going to roll it right here. And it came up number 2. So we'll go to the second comment, and it's from the top, and see who that is. So it comes down, and it is Gary Manning. All right, Gary. So you are the winner of the SD card. All that pre-stuff was just tricking you, building suspense. And I see comments are coming. I'll get to them in just a second. I can't read them. They're behind my screen, but I'm going to read out what Gary's statement was or response was that won him this SD card. So it says, "Just a warning, do handle the X1020, I'm assuming he means XT10 or XT20, before buying it. It is petite if you have larger hands." It says, "Also, you may need to disable the right D-pad button, as your palm will often depress that particular button and initiate a menu while shooting. Great cameras, though. The XT10 is particularly good value, as sometimes you can buy the body with the 18 to 55 lens for the same price as an XT1 body." Now that would be a steal. Says if the XT20 does drop to the 350 to 400 mark, in the UK, I may be tempted to buy one, as it produces superb results. Great video with balanced comments, and thank you. So Gary, you are the winner. I will comment in your message that you won, and I will comment down there on how to contact me with your information and to confirm that you are the winner, because it will be public, so other people will probably try to get your prize. But I'll put down there how to contact me and what you need to put in there to prove that you are who you are, so that I can mail this out to you. And no worries, I will pay for the shipping. So you get that SD card. Cool. So let me get back to the comments and see you guys making fun of me. It says, Fuji, so congratulations, Dirk. Oops. Oh, Dirk, man. Okay, congratulations, Gary. Laugh out, Gary. Okay, yeah, so that was a huge mistake. Sorry about that, Dirk. Probably got you all excited for a second, although I'm sure you remembered, and you're probably like, "No, not me, not me." So Gary, let's see. Vanzini says he has pretty big hands. He adapted to the small ones quite well. Yeah, and I've felt the XT20. I went into Best Buy and just kind of played with it there with the cord hanging off of it, so it's super awkward and all that stuff. But I looked through the viewfinder because I was really curious about that. That's one of the things that sold me on the XT1, even though it's so aged as far as digital cameras go. That electronic viewfinder it's phenomenal. It's like looking at a high definition TV right next to your eyeball. It just looks wonderful. So I wanted to see if the XT20 had anything even close to that, and it's not. It's quite a bit smaller, and it's not quite as bright, and it's not quite as detailed. But it still was really good compared to what I expect from an electronic viewfinder. I have pretty low expectations for those things. So I was pleasantly surprised with it. As far as my the pad of my thumb crushing the D-pad, I didn't notice that at all. But reading it, I could see that happening. I think if I was to get an XT20, I would probably size it up by putting a base with the front grip on it. Unfortunately, they don't make a vertical battery grip for that camera. I wish that they did. I think they would sell a lot of them. It sounds really strange on something that small, and it would look kind of oddball, but it's pretty cool. I think it would be cool to have it on something that small. And just the extra battery power is always great, regardless. Maybe there's an issue with having to put the connections on the bottom of the camera. Maybe there's just not enough room inside the camera. Yeah, because all the extra battery grips have to... Sorry, my dog is scratching. I don't know if you're hearing that or not, but all the extra battery grips have to make a contact to the camera to send the energy to it. So there's a bunch of contacts on the bottom of the camera, and if the battery grip, vertical battery grip, has buttons on it or able to focus and fire from it, then it has to make contact for that stuff to happen as well. There may just not be room inside that little body. I don't know. I'm really interested in the XT30 though. They came out, they're $899, I think is what they're running for right now, which obviously that price will come down probably within a few months of the release. But I don't know that it's going to come down too much, maybe down to like $799. And the XT20 before the XT30 came out was already selling at $699 for the body. So I haven't looked to see if they've dropped down since it was announced, but I don't think the XT30s have actually started shipping yet. So they really won't start dropping price until people that have the XT30 in hand no longer need their XT20s, and then they start selling them used. That's when we'll start seeing those prices drop. But that should be fairly soon, I would imagine, with the early orders. Now, I did notice that the gray one, the design that I really like, that space gray top and bottom on the XT30, I did notice that that one's not shipping until June. So I'm sure a lot of people ordered that model, and they'll be waiting a while to get it. Tell me if that's annoying, the sound of it. I can always mute my mic before I take a drag if I need some nicotine. Sometimes that stuff annoys the crap out of me when I see other YouTubers doing it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else big to talk about, and I don't understand how to use OBS yet, which is what I'm using to make this video. So, you know, they have the scenes that you can swap in and out and do hot swaps while you're shooting, so you can show people your screens and all that stuff. And I need to figure it out before I start trying to do it, because I don't want to accidentally, like, hey, here's my bank account. You know what I mean? So, gotta be careful about that type of stuff. I have noticed a lot more people commenting on the videos, maybe because I put the contest up, but even on my other videos, I've noticed a lot more people commenting, and I really appreciate the comments back because they give me feedback to let me know what it is that you would like to know about, or what it is that you're interested in. So Addie says, Vape Life, no, it's not loud or obnoxious at all, you're good. Yeah, but you're a vapor. Your opinion might be skewed, sir. Or ma'am, your opinion might be skewed, ma'am. So yeah, you gotta always be careful with that stuff. Let's see. It was cool, no problem. All right, Dirk. Hey, Dirk, did you see that you won and then lost immediately because of your comment? I feel so bad. I hope you go back and watch that, because I read your comment out loud, and then at the end you said not to be considered. So sorry about that, bud. We'll figure out something for you. All right, so Vanzini says it's okay. Dirk says it's okay. Addy says it's okay. Apparently, it's not too annoying because all three people here say it's all right, which you can't lose with everybody agreeing. That's how we win. Um, it's really weird. It doesn't even show that it's live right now, but obviously I am because people are talking. Let's see. Hey, Dirk, let me know that you're okay with the way that worked out. And if you're not, no worries. We'll figure something out to please you, sir. So just let me know that you're all right. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose you. All right. Let's see. Anything interesting? I'm from Germany. That shipping is a nightmare. Yeah. That's what you said in your comment. I appreciate your understanding on that stuff because I own a local business, and yeah, I understand what you're talking about. Vanzini's an old pipe smoker, rare now. Yeah, absolutely. I used to be a pipe smoker. But yeah, that's a dying breed, sir. No pun intended. Yeah, I was a smoker for years, but I decided to try to quit and picked up a new habit instead. But I do feel a lot better. Being a paraplegic, the number one killer of paraplegics is lung disease. Okay, cool. Dirk says he's cool. Cool. Thanks, Dirk. But yeah, being paraplegic, number one killer is lung disease. So being a smoker and not being able to quit it, this actually did help. And my doctors have looked at my lungs and said, hey, they're doing great. So, and that was after smoking for 13, 14 years. So I'm happy to be doing this instead. But hey, Dirk, are the yellow vests rioting in Germany? Like we're seeing in France. Is that stuff happening in Germany yet? Sorry to go all political on you guys, but if there's somebody from Germany on the channel, I'm really curious. I know that that's a big deal in France at the moment and has been for quite some time. Our media here in the U.S. is just absolutely ignoring this stuff that's going on around the world. Most of you people probably don't know that there was a massive military action in Haiti in January. Most people had no idea. Pretty crazy stuff. But I've been kind of watching Germany and watching the EU with all of the protests and stuff that are going on, and I'm interested to find out. So Eddie says, "Good, gotta keep you around a long time, man." Yeah. Yep. Okay, so no yellow vest protests in Germany right now. Cool. Good, yeah. Some of that stuff is getting really violent and scary. It's interesting to watch, but it's weird that the media is just not talking about it at all in my neck of the woods. Like, not at all. Well, I guess that's about it for me tonight. I don't know if you guys have any questions or concerns or want to yell at me. Go to fisticuffs over the internet. Now's your chance. But otherwise, I thank you guys for watching. And I will be doing an actual video 2-month update on the camera and where I'm at with it and showing you guys some images. I've been taking a lot of the mountain that's back behind my house. The AFD is trying to hijack but failing. I'll have to look into who the AFD is, Dirk. I'm not familiar with that. I'm sure you're talking about a political group or party. But I'm not familiar with Germany's political parties or groups, and I'm not even really familiar with who's in power right now, except for I know that Angela Merkel. If it comes to Portland, I will try to be there for the shoot. Oh yeah, Vanzini. I used to live in Portland. You have probably one of the better chances of seeing a lot of violence in Portland, but I don't think you have a very good chance of the yellow vests. You got a lot of Antifa over there. The yellow vest is more of a it's more of a conservative movement, a nationalist movement. It's really interesting. In France, they're running around taking down EU flags and putting up French flags again. And to be honest, I agree with a lot of what they're doing and why. And they're trying to be peaceful, but a lot of them are getting beaten and killed by the police. It's very interesting. But of course, a lot of the police are joining them too, so it's really weird to watch it. That's the upside to crazy world for photog subject rich environment. Yeah, like Portland. Portland is a rich environment if you want to stream and build up a channel quite quickly. Vanzini, if you're in the area and you're interested in doing that stuff, you could build something up quite quickly. But it can be dangerous. A lot of those guys, they get into some rough spots. It's scary to watch sometimes. So Dirk says, party saying all the time there are no Nazis. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to look into that, Dirk. There are no Nazis. I would kind of agree with that, but I don't know about Germany. I would agree with that in the U.S. I would say there's like 15 Nazis and they're all idiots. The real Nazis are long gone. These guys are just LARPing or live action role playing, thinking that they're tough and hating people based on the amount of melanin in their skin or their religious background, which is absolutely stupid. So, let's see, Vincent, I'm down south, Mid-Valley. Yeah, it'll be some Antifa or Neos. Yeah, the Neos, I know what you're talking about there with the alt-right guys. That stuff's also quite scary because I tend to fall on the conservative side, and I'm an alternative type person for a conservative. So that terminology kind of freaks me out because I would consider myself to be the definition, like if you use the proper definition of alternative right, that would probably be me. I'm an alternative conservative. But the alt-right is the white nationalist, crazy guys, anti-everything, except for them. I think that's like the best definition of xenophobia ever. So I've done a lot of protests in Portland, Salem, Eugene. When I lived in Portland, I lived just south of Portland in Lake Oswego for a while, for about 5 years. And I did go to quite a few of the marches. It was during the time, I was down there when 9/11 happened. So, or I was over there when 9/11 happened. So, you know, all the protests that happened in the streets during the call to war and the build up to war and the mass weapons or weapons of mass destruction and all that stuff. All the protests that were going on to that, I just went out as an observer. I didn't join one side or another. I just observed it and shot some video. At that time, I was doing a lot of video work, and it was just interesting to me. To me, it was more interesting the types of people that were coming out and how unusual the crowds were and the amount of both the amount of diversity and the lack of it, if that makes sense. There was quite a bit of diversity of age and quite a bit of diversity of maybe wealth, but not much other. There was a lot of diversity of race, of course, just because Portland, so there's all kinds of different people. But they all were so similar in the way that they presented themselves. It was really interesting. I enjoyed it quite a lot, to be honest. But yeah, it was a tough time. it was a hard time to know what to do and who to support, especially with me being who I am. It was just very difficult. And it's still, looking back on it, I don't think we made very good decisions as a nation. And I don't think that my thoughts at the time or my support was well thought out, to be honest. I was quite a bit younger, and it was really weird waking up to the towers falling. That was very strange. So a diverse lack of diversity. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think you know what I mean. Like what I'm talking about is there might have been like a 16-year-old kid and a 60-year-old person that had the same sign, same clothing, and the same color of hair, both pink hair or something like that. They looked exactly the same. All the people did. They were all trying to be as outrageous as possible in appearance, and somehow landed in exactly the same zone. It was really strange, but it was fun to film. It certainly looked like you had set up some sort of scene for a movie or something, like it was all prepped and these people were all supposed to come together. It was really interesting. This was at the same time that, you probably remember this, Vanzini, it was at the same time that oh yeah, you came of age in the 60s, so yeah, you saw it then too. Same thing happened. And it's very strange that we're going through similar things again, but with less awareness, I think, or less actual knowledge of what's happening, which is strange because we're in the information age, so we should have the most amount of knowledge of what's happening. But it seems like the people that are out, quote, fighting the system, or the people that are really angry right now, the counter culture, as it would have been called in the 60s, the people that are counter to what's happening, don't seem quite as willing to find the information, or quite as willing to look at actual information. Whereas in the 60s, I think it was more about trying to find as much as possible. It seems like right now it's just trying to hide as much as possible, which is really strange. But I don't remember what I was going to say before I read your comment. I did have something I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was now. But so just so you guys know, I am going to be doing more giveaways in the future. I am going to be doing them based on subscribers. So trying to get up to like the 250 is probably the next mark, 250, and then 500 after that, and then 1,000 after that. But we're going to get up to some big giveaways. And once we get up to 1,000 subscribers, we'll probably do a really big, fun giveaway. Let's see. Did anyone watch Vice? Television show called Vice. Is that what you're talking about, Dirk? Because I remember, or there's also a movie I think called Vice. I remember both of them. Like I could probably draw the movie poster, and same with the TV show. I could probably draw what it looks like on Netflix, or at least what my brain tells me it looks like. It may not exist. But no, I didn't watch it. That was a long way of saying no. Addie can tell you I'm good at that. Very long way around sometimes. I missed your comment here, Dirk. It said, no, the AFD has to say all the time that there are no Nazis. The AFD want people shot on the German border. That's horrific. Okay, yeah, I'll look into those guys. They sound terrible. You said no, it's a movie called Vice. I'll have to check it out. I've never watched it. I think I could draw the movie poster though. Seems like I've seen it many times, probably on Netflix or something like that. I've got a big smudge on my glasses. Let's see if I can clean them off. It's about Dick Cheney. Oh, yeah, I have seen the commercials for that. It sounds like an interesting show. It does not sound like it's historically accurate, but it sounds like an interesting show. Has anyone seen The Rails? We went off them a while back there. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were talking cameras. You know what cameras do? They lead to other topics sometimes. I almost do movies. I'm not sure what you mean, Vanzini. I almost do movies. Like you almost work in the movie industry or something? When I was out in Portland, I went to school at the Art Institute of Portland, and that's why I was there. And I did my internship before I graduated at the Portland Zoo, which is really quite a beautiful place. I always have a little bit of trouble with zoos because animals in captivity makes me sad. But it's still quite a wonderful place. So I did my internship there, and my job was to video the animals, like the events that we would do. So for example, there on Valentine's Day, they went and froze in the shape of hearts, big blocks of ice with lots of fruit in them, and gave them to the otters. It was interesting. The otters loved it, thought it was great. Oh, the Cheney movie, I heard about it on the radio. I may actually have to go see it. Yeah, Vanzini. That's the movie he's talking about. It sounds really good. It sounds funny. Maybe kind of terrifying at the same time. But I have heard it's not exactly super historically accurate. But yeah, it's... Oh, you almost never do movies. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I rarely go to the movie theater either. It's awkward for me, but I watch a lot of movies at home on Netflix and stuff like that. Oh yeah, but working at the Portland Zoo, so I shot the video for news releases. So like giving the otters those hearts. We also had an elephant there at the time. I believe its name was Packy, which they're pachyderms, so that was a good name for it. But Packy was a painter. I'm not sure if Packy's still around. I think elephants live a long time, so he probably is still alive. But Packy was a painter. Maybe you've heard of him, Vanzini, but they sell Packy's paintings to help fund the zoo, and I filmed him doing some paintings for the news. And then the funnest thing I ever filmed was a medical examination of a 600-pound polar bear. That was pretty awesome. Oh yeah, you saw it on the news. The otters loved it. They did. Absolutely, they loved it. It was really interesting. They were totally down for the frozen hearts with fruit in them. And they'd break them up, and they like their food to be hard because they like to break it open to get to the soft meat, which is why they would freeze the fruit inside water. Made them feel like they were working for it or something. But the medical examination of the polar bear was pretty awesome. You don't quite realize how big and powerful those animals are until you are in a room with one, even unconscious as the one was while I was filming him. But that was also for the news. Fun times. I miss it. I miss it a lot, but now I'm back over in Idaho. Packy passed 2 years ago. Yeah, so you can probably look up Addie, though, and see. I think it was Packy that did the paintings, but it may have been one of the other elephants, but I think it was Packy. And if you look up Portland art or Portland Zoo elephant art, you'll find out about it. Yeah, so yeah, he died a few ago, and you were a young lad when he was born. Says Vanzini. Yeah, I thought elephants lived to be quite old. It was interesting when I filmed that because I was on the other side of some big bars from him. The bars were probably that big around, but they were spaced out probably about this wide, so it was easy to shoot. without having the bars really screw up your image or whatever. But they were nervous the whole time that Packy would stick his trunk out of the bars and try to pull me in. So it was having a zookeeper tell you that that was a danger was not comforting. Just like when I did the polar bear, they actually assigned a zoo person. I don't know what you would call them, but one of the people that worked at the zoo was assigned to stand behind me the entire time while I was filming everything. And their job was to hold on to the back of my wheelchair, and if that polar bear woke up, their sole job was to get me out of the room as fast as possible, because I probably was not going to be paying attention because I was filming. So, you know, I might have been filming its foot or something while it's waking up and trying to bite my head off. So that was a kind of a scary thing for them to do. Rama was the painter elephant. Yeah, okay, now that makes more sense. I just remember Packy because pachyderm, so Packy stuck in my head. So it was Rama. Yeah, you're right. I think Packy was a male and Rama was a female, if I'm right. No. I don't know. I'm guessing on that one, but yeah, that's thanks for the help, Sadie. But how interesting. Probably watched your footage. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Just on the local news. You know, I was there 2002. I think 2002 was when I was doing all the filming. Yeah, I think that's when I was at the zoo, because I graduated in 2003. It might have been 2003, but I think it was 2002. And it was just a 6-month stint, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I learned a lot about shooting video and editing for completely uncontrolled environments. You know, it's not like I could bring in lighting. I had to work with what was there. They aren't going to let you run a bunch of cables around a passed out polar bear. There's something about that. Google up on another screen. Sweet. My Google and Addy, I might have to make you an admin. Well, Rama was Packy's son. Weird. I thought Rama was a girl for some reason. I totally did, but it felt wrong, which is why I said I probably don't know what I'm talking about when I made that claim. So, yeah, it's fond memories for me. That was fun going to the Art Institute. Had a lot of good friends out there, and I did 2 of the film festivals there at the Art Institute and won both of them with just shorts, little short films. I wish I could find those. One was called The Car Won't Start, and one was called Eye of the Beer Holder. And I have no idea where they're at now. They would be on VHS tape. So, yeah, the early days. Well, thanks again for watching, guys. I guess, like Addie said, I was going this direction, and I think we took a fork in the road, but we took both sides, which gets really confusing. So we'll call it a night tonight. Congratulations to the winner, and I will comment on his thing and let him know. But thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good night.